Today I want to talk about Treyaun Webb, who has committed to the University of Oklahoma, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about, well, they call him an athlete. We're going to call him a running back. Treyaun Webb, who has announced his commitment to Oklahoma. This is a top 50 recruit, 4-star in the 247 Sports Composite, coming out of Jacksonville, Florida. Trinity Christian led them to the state title game last year. Had over 800 yards on the ground, 10 scores. And I think the comp here right away is Kennedy Brooks for the 2023 tailback. And look, when you watch him on film, this is a man who runs the football, not unlike you draw it up when you're on the board. When you're on the whiteboard and you are pulling guards and you're pulling tackles and you're saying, hey, stay off that dude's hip, stay off his left butt cheek, right butt cheek, however it is you need to talk about the cheeks, that man is going to go right off of it. And he's probably going to take it into the house for 6, because it's not necessarily that he looks like he has breakaway speed so much as when he's running, people aren't catching him, right? And I really think that that's interesting, especially when he's 6 foot, about $190. He's probably going to put on about 20 pounds at Oklahoma, give or take. But this is also the third running back commit to DeMarco Murray and Oklahoma in about 3 weeks, quite honestly. And if we're really paying attention to this, and we want to count it this way, it's 4 tailbacks in like a month. And you include LSU running back Trey Bradford, who had enrolled over the summer. And now you're talking about Gavin Sawchuk and Raleek Brown in the 2022 class. You're also now talking about 2023 being roaring with the addition of Treyaun Webb. And of course, Malachi Nelson is expected to announce his commitment to somewhere tomorrow. This is going up on a Saturday afternoon. It has been a very busy Saturday afternoon in the world of recruiting, as Keon Sabb announced his commitment to Clemson. That is a top safety in this class. I mean, look, I'm also really interested to see what all this looks like with name, image, and likeness becoming much more, well, applicable. Because as much as I want to sit here and talk about the kids that are committing today, one of the things that has broken over the last 24 hours that I really wanted to talk about is TexAgs announcing they're paying $10,000 to 2 players for exclusive media access. Now, depending on how you want to talk about it, what we do know for sure is that website generates a lot of unique visitors and a lot of page views, right? But they also are rabid about how much they love their Texas A&M football players, and they worked really hard with a real estate company to basically make sure all of this was on the up and up. And it has become national news, not just because of the sum, but because traditionally in American journalism, we do not pay for interviews of the players that we talk to. It's usually set up through an intermediary, most likely the comms director or media relations director at a respective university, and there are usually times that are set up for you to be able to talk with those kiddos, let alone the coaches. So this is a brave new world and another unintended consequence of name, image, and likeness. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I just think that it's interesting that they jumped right at this opportunity with Isaiah Spiller and Damani Richardson at A&M. Now, I also think that some of this, the way that we're talking about, what name, image, and likeness is going to do to college football is asinine, because, these are issues and problems that come up in work-related environments all the time. There's a hierarchy wherever you work, right? Like, some people aren't treated the same. Some people get paid more. Some people get paid less, and that's just the way that it is. So when I hear coaches talk about, I worry about how it's going to split my locker room, like, that's already happening. Like, ask a walk-on how he feels about not being a scholarship player. Not because of scholarship, but because of certain things that he can't have, right? And that's really cut and dry for some because there are rules. But when you get into the gray areas where they're not so much rules, but you know that they're taking it easier on that player than they probably would someone else, you're seeing that play out. And Isaiah Spiller is reaping the benefits of this name, image, and likeness deal. But I also understand that, we're going to play whack-a-mole with this thing for a while. And if you haven't listened to my conversation with Jake Olson on the #1 ranked show. You should definitely go listen to that because we get into that to some degree. I also think it's interesting to look at Treyaun Webb in this way because these things are really going to start to get sorted here in the next 2 years. And by the time he gets on campus with an opportunity to play early, that's really what's going to be in vogue. Now, you're also looking at DeMarco Murray doing, again, one hell of a job as an evaluator, as a recruiter. And we'll see about development here in a little bit because he's got Kennedy Brooks and Eric Gray already back there. I've heard that Marcus Major has the talent to be better than both from the source, right? It could be nasty in that Oklahoma backfield, not just this year, but for years to come. And while I'm talking about Eric Gray and Kennedy Brooks, who both could go for 1,000 yards rushing this year, it's on the table, right? This is probably shaping up for me to be the year of the running back for the Big 12 because Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall will probably go for 1,500 yards. Matter of fact, Steve Sarkisian was very loud about, hey, everywhere I've been, I've had 1,000-yard rusher. That's not going to change at Texas. And I believe him, and I see Bijan, and I know Bijan got it like that, and I know Breece got it like that. And then Deuce Vaughn up at Kansas State. He's going to be the dude that they pin their hopes and dreams on to try to go 3-0 in the Chris Kleiman era against Oklahoma this year. Goodness me. Think about that for a second. And then you keep going down the line, right? Zach Evans at Texas Christian. He's going to come into his own. Treston Ebner can make a house call anytime he wants to. So Roderick Thompson can do the same thing at Texas Tech, make a house call anytime he wants to. Letty Brown rushed for over 1,000 yards in 10 games last year. He can make a house call anytime he wants to. You go up and down, really. Let's figure out what Lance Leipold is doing with Kansas because he hasn't really had those dudes at all. I can pick out a guy at tailback in 9 out of 10 teams in this league. So as much as we talk about Rattler and even Purdy and to some degree even Max Duggan and Casey Thompson, Hudson Card, watch the tailbacks because this is about to be really interesting, especially as we're seeing balance become much bigger in influence in the Big 12. Like it had this reputation for being pass happy for so long because of Mike Leach, Josh Heupel, Kevin Wilson. But what you've seen with Lincoln Riley and the coaches that have come into this league and the way the coaches have adapted this league is they all want to run the football. And they want to get those running backs in one-on-one situations. They will spread you out to do that however they got to do it. So watch all of that. And by the time Treyaun Webb gets here, goodness me, who knows what this league's going to look like. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.